Can you hear the echo? Hello everyone. Whanganui is our hometown and we love it. We want to share its history and what Whanganui has to offer to you all. The footage you're about to see has been taken over the years, so could look a little different today. This part 1 episode is showcasing Whanganui from the banks of the river as it flows from under this train bridge and off to the sea. The worst flooding that Whanganui had seen since records began occurred in June 2015. 100 properties were evacuated, mostly along Anzac Parade, where my sister lived. She was evacuated in the night and had to be carried over floodwaters, so she sold up and moved to safer grounds. The damage to Kowhai Park and the Riverlands Family Park area was extensive. The park was closed for some months after and the bumper boats at Riverlands was shut down for good. Even the footbridge over Kaiwi Stream at Kaiwi Beach didn't stand up to the force of the water flow from the flood. And I remember having to leave work early that night because the bridges were to be shut. I was happy with that decision. The kitty cars used to be. No kitty cars anymore. The golf course. Mini putt, whatever it's called. Used to be the bumper boats in there, not anymore. Park over there, flying fox, kids enjoy. Get down, you brat. Go! Woohoo! Who's winning?
That girl.
Oh, well done!
That girl won.
Clever kid!
That girl won.
Kauai Park was established in 1950. It was named following the planting of a kowhai tree by Lord Liverpool in 1917. The work of a James McGregor, who planted a variety of trees at Kauai Park, was recognised by renaming the park as the James McGregor Memorial Park. The southern end of the park is still dominated by the plants of James McGregor, while the other end is now a children's playground. Glorious! It's just lovely! We're in love with the bamboo! How neat! Love it! Okay, wait for me, I've got to get my bike! Gotta get back and get my bike! The very popular duck race is an annual event held on the Whanganui River to raise funds for the unfortunate families that are in our district. The Waimarie paddle steamer is the only coal-fired paddle steamer still operating in New Zealand. The Waimarie was built in 1899 by Yarrow & Co. in London and transported to New Zealand in kit set form to be assembled at Whanganui. For 49 years she operated on the Whanganui River before being laid up. In 1952 she sank at her moorings and lay in the mud for the next 40 years. In 1993, the Waimarie was raised from the riverbed and took a 6-year restoration effort for her to return to service in the year 2000. Our oldest son was the youngest person to help restore her back to life when he was just 16. He then became the stoker of the coal for a while before he started a full-time job. In 2010, a spherical outdoor sculpture arrived on the banks of the Whanganui River. The bearing outdoor sculpture, like a ball bearing maybe, was created by David McCracken, a New Zealand artist who also created the stairway, which is called Diminish and Ascend, the sculpture in Christchurch's Botanic Garden. The large stainless steel sphere has a deep fissure carved through it to represent the winding path of the Whanganui River, from mountains to sea. Was the former entrance. 1919. Wow. The Durie Hill Elevator, Tunnel and Tower is ranked by Heritage New Zealand as a Category 1 historic place. The elevator is New Zealand's only public underground elevator and is one of only 2 elevators in the world to service a hill suburb. The other is in Lisbon, Portugal. The tunnel is 213 metres long. The elevator shaft is 66 metres high. The electrically run elevator cage is supported with 4 steel ropes and was completed in 1919 and under cost as well. So that's the Durie Hill elevator, is it not? And there we go back down the tunnel. Hey Bobby! Can you hear the echo? Yeah. It's cold! When I was 17 at my first job, delivering telegrams on a bicycle, I used the elevator once, maybe twice, then gave it up and used this zigzag to get up Durie Hill with my bike. The elevator operator back then was a little old man with one short leg, so had a huge boot on one foot that was lengthened so he could walk normally. I was scared of him. Durie Hill is named after Major David Stark Durie, who arrived in New Zealand in 1840. He was appointed resident magistrate in Whanganui, and he built his home, Glen Durie, on the hill across the river from town. The building of the Durie Hill elevator in 1919 greatly assisted Durie Hill as a Whanganui suburb. In 1920, Samuel Hurst Seeger, a leading New Zealand architect, created a plan for the Durie Hill suburb with curved streets, reserves and recreational facilities like croquet, tennis and bowls were included in the design to make the suburb attractive and desirable. Hello. Durie Hill Tower opened in 1925 to commemorate 513 people who died in World War I. It was built out of local shell rock. The tower is a Category 2 historic place. It is 33.5 metres high, it's 104 feet, and the shell rock it is built with is more than 2 million years old, brought in from a quarry 15 kilometres upriver at Kaiwaiki. 173, 174, 175, 176. Yay! 176 steps. We did it. So that's our War Memorial Tower. Done and dusted. For another year. Another 20 years. The water tower opened in 1927 to service both Bastia and Derry Hills. The 3 floors to the tower are to stop the outer columns from bowing outwards under the weight of the water in the top tank, which can hold 2,000 tonnes of water. The tank featured an automatic electric pump station drawing water from the town supply. The dome was to protect the water from the sun. At 44 metres tall, it is taller than the Derry Hill Tower, which is 33 metres tall. Bastia Hill is named after an Augustine Giorgetti, an early settler, came from a town of Bastia on the island of Corsica. Gorgeous view, isn't it? There's Asia, there's Lacey. Oh! Wow! There you go! The wreck of the Tiano is visible at low tide. It was made as part of the harbour wall as breakwater. It was towed to Whanganui by the Katoki in August 1924.